about my emotions being on kind of like a Rolodex, constantly changing. So whenever I made a decision, I didn't feel good about this decision immediately after because I felt differently. Well, I found out that I have a channel of moodiness, identified that in human design. So then from there, this is all in result of me demanding to the universe to understand my emotions, because I had been on a roller coaster my whole life, and I had just learned that I could ask questions to the universe, and the universe would answer. So this was the thing that I wanted to know, because I felt like my emotions, I knew my emotions were out of control, and I felt like they were ruining my life. Well, I don't quite have them in control. Yes, they're making for a rocky life for sure. I only see that with my significant other, because he happens to be the one that triggers those energies to come out in me now. Nobody else really. I guess I'm like down to the nitty gritty of triggers now, because I've been clearing layers and layers. And so what I realized is, when I'm clearing layers, what I mean is, I learned that, so everything's made out of energy, and anytime there's like a pattern in your life, or an illness, or an ache, all it is it's stuck energy. It's a stagnancy in your energy, and you want your energy to be flowing and moving all the time. That's what life is, growth and change. If you're, human beings do need a certain amount of stability, but they also have to have variety. And life is about change, so you want to make sure that you're not living your beliefs and filling your needs by any means that are contrary to what it benefits you to be doing as a human. So I realized that my emotions are on a Rolodex, so I realized then, I start putting pieces together and realize that there's this soul retrieval that can be done, where you go back in time, you follow a thought stream or a feeling stream back to an incident that happened in your past. Maybe it was traumatic. If you have a trigger for it and it's become a pattern in your life, it is a stagnant energy stuck in your body. If you follow the feeling of it, find out where it first happened in your life, and you can clear it. You may have to retrieve a part of your soul that was left in the scene. You do this in a very highly meditative state, mind you. You're going to be connected to Source, connected to the earth, and expand your energy. So you have to be in an elevated state to do this. But once you do access that time from an elevated state, and you're not in it, so you can make different choices about how it plays out. And you can change anything that happened in your past. Absolutely anything. And the timelines all, fall into place when you sleep, especially. So, I had been doing this, and then I lost like 3 or 4 days. I was like, one Saturday afternoon, I was like, what day is it? And I had realized the last time I had known what day it was like Monday. So I'd lost a whole week, really. But it was because I had gone back to my past and shifted things that had happened in my past by changing them in the energy from my elevated state, and replacing them with something better, and then my life kind of fell in line. And so what you do is you actually change the foundation of who you are. Your looks start to change and everything. I was looking a lot better for a while, and now I've tapped into some really primal energies, and I see that I look different even now, like not as good. I'm dealing with some sludgy ones, but they're not taking me over now, and I feel like all they're doing was they came up to be seen so they could dissipate. And so anyways, the other thing I realized is, because my emotions are on a Rolodex, so that's one way you can time travel, essentially, go back, change the past. So the timeline that you're on, and the timeline got stuck in a loop because there was something not right about it happening, or something about it happening stuck in you to make up who you were. If you want to be done with the pattern, you can just thank it for its usefulness in your life to that point, because all of these do serve a purpose. We did experience it for a reason. But once we're done with it, we can thank it for its service and let it go, clear, transmute, across all time, space, dimensions, and reality, is the statement that I got from Christy Marie Sheldon, who is amazing and shares her work freely, with interviews and some things on YouTube. So if you're, inclined to self-help like I am. You know, you just go and gather up all the information you can. She and I put that with, you know, some other things I had learned from Teal Swan about the completion process, from the shamans, about soul retrieval and all that stuff, and human design with the channels of energy, and the specific channel that I have, which rotates through all the emotions. So the purpose of this is so that people won't get stuck in one emotion, and that they will consider the next one. So it's a helpful thing to have when you're trying to evolve society's consciousness. Because people who don't have that channel will be activated in them just by being in contact with me, because I have it. So now that I know how it works, it's going to be a lot better for me. Because before, I didn't know, and I was just on this bad roller coaster of emotion, and I could never trust myself to make a decision. And now I know the usefulness of that pattern existing in me, and now I know I don't have to buy into whatever emotion that arises. Another way that I can time travel is actually choosing the timeline that I wish to go forward on. So all these emotions are running through on a Rolodex, you know, in my mind or in my being, and I just let all the ones that don't feel good pass by. And when there's one that feels good, a perspective, an emotion, a feeling that feels good, that's the one I focus on, that's the one I follow, that's the timeline I live. You know, I just say, yeah, that. So what I have to do is, you know, really commit to that and know that the next motion that comes, it's just the next option for timeline, and I chose this one. And if the next one's better, maybe I'll choose that one, but I'm definitely going to stick with the ones that are good now that I know. Now the other part of that was, because I'm a Scorpio, I have a lot of deep, intense energy that goes down below the surface, and I had been living in it for quite a while because I had been trying to figure out, you know, the mystery of what was going on with myself, and how I was having these harsh reactions to other people's energy and all this stuff. So what I realized is I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's an Aquarius, and that's an air sign. And so they're very mind-oriented, light. They don't get into the depth of the feelings. In fact, it doesn't interest Aquarius at all to do so. They might be intrigued by it a little bit, and so they'd like to look at the Scorpio, but I don't really think they like to play. But I have Aquarius ascendant energy, and that's the energy which I came forth to show to the world. And I had not been using it, and so she came up with this idea to try using my Aquarius energy, and that's what I did. I stepped up. It was like being in a river of rushing water as a Scorpio, and I'm holding on to a rock. Like, it's, you know, I'm holding on to the rock because the river's rapids are my emotions. I'm just holding on for dear life. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, but I know it hurts worse if I don't hold on. So by becoming my Aquarius, by stepping into my Aquarius energy, I step out of the river onto the rock. And now I'm standing on the rock and I can see the river. And from here, I'm able to see it's a Rolodex. It's a choice. I can ride it or not. You know. What freedom. Finally, I understand my emotions. And in the process, I learned how to time travel and heal myself, and realized that this is really not so serious.